Daily Manna from the Torah by Dr. Ketriel Blad. Shalom, dear friends, and welcome to this new parasha, Emor, say, in its first aliyah. Today, this aliyah covers Leviticus 21 from verse 1 to 15. And today's study is covered in verses 7 and 8. They read as follows. They shall not take a wife who is a harlot or polluted or profaned or divorced, for the priest is holy to his God. You shall consecrate him therefore, for he offers the bread of your God. He shall be holy to you, for I, the Lord, who sanctifies you, am holy. Are there different levels of sanctity or holiness? The sons and daughters of Israel were set apart from among the nations to be more sanctified than they. The Levites were set apart from the rest of the tribes to be more sanctified. The sons of Aaron, HaKohen, were set apart from among the Levites to be more sanctified than they. The high priest was set apart from the rest of the priests to be even more sanctified than they were. To be sanctified doesn't mean to be better. To be sanctified doesn't mean not to sin. To be sanctified doesn't mean to be the favorite. To be sanctified doesn't mean to have the right to take advantage of one's position. Sanctity has to do with more responsibility. Sanctity has to do with obedience. Sanctity has to do with more sacrifice. Sanctity has to do with paying a higher price. Sanctity has to do with a superior position. Sanctity has to do with limited boundaries. Sanctity has to do with closeness. The commandments sanctify people. The more commandments a person has to fulfill, the greater is his calling for sanctification. The sons and daughters of Israel and those redeemed from among the nations have more commandments than the rest of the nations. The Levites have more commandments than the rest of the tribes. Priests have more commandments than the Levites. The high priest has more commandments than anyone, and that's why he is more sanctified for the eternal and for the people. The most distinguished, the one who is most separated, the most responsible, the most elevated, and the most privileged. A Jew is not allowed to marry a non-Jewish woman. A believer in Yeshua is not allowed to marry a non-believer in Yeshua. A priest is not allowed to marry a woman who has practiced fornication, who was born from a forbidden relationship, who is divorced or a convert. This teaches us that the more sanctity, the stricter the demands. One who wants to live a life of sanctity can't do things that other people can. One who wants to approach even more to sanctity within the Eternal's plan for her life will have to review his life and ask himself if what he is doing pleases the Eternal. There are things that are allowed for the different types of people who are not completely pleasing to him. There are also things that are pleasing to him but not perfect. And finally, there are perfect things in each group of people, according to the maximum level of sanctification for each group. Therefore, we see that we can live in different levels of sanctification within the group to which we belong to. Even though some things are allowed, they are not always convenient, especially if we want to be sensitive to the voice of the Spirit and live an intimate relationship with our Father and with His Mashiach. Self-denial of normal privileges in this life produces greater sanctity. Everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible, but not everything is constructive. 1 Corinthians 6:12 and 10:23. May the Eternal help each one of us find the highest level of sanctity within the group of people to whom we belong. Shavua Tov.